Good evening. This is Tommy Lackey, and tonight is Tuesday, March 11th, 2014. And after today's fireworks, I thought we'd do a quick breadth review so we can see in the bigger picture where we really are at this point. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, starting here with our new high, new low differential, we see that it's still positive at this point, with 38 new highs and 11 new lows. But in reality, with the move just now starting, it's too early for us to see or get much of a read from this. We'll see if it goes negative. If it does, we'll see if we can expand. If this is a short-term move, then this is not the chart that we're going to be looking for a lot of guidance from. Next, we move over to our advanced decline line, and we see on this particular chart that we still are making higher highs and higher lows, and it looks like both the advanced decline line and the price itself are both holding the breakout so far. So until we see a test of that, we're not going to really worry a whole lot, but that is the first sign that we might be needing a little more caution. Now, in this week's Strength in Numbers report, I talked about watching this, the moving average breadth indicator, to see when the percent above the 20 SMA, which is the bottom window right here, started falling. We want to see where it turns up. Anywhere between 50 and above is great. 40 is probably decent as well. But more importantly, no matter how far down this comes down, we want to see how much the 50 and the 200 SMA react. If they don't react much, again, we're looking for a shorter term. If they start dropping fast as well, then again, that shows a little higher caution and that the character may be changing. But so far, we're not there yet. Next, we move over to our McClellan chart. And on the McClellan chart, we can see that the summation index is just now starting to roll over a bit, but still has a little bit of room before it crosses. And down here in the middle, the oscillator is starting to drop pretty quickly. We've dropped below zero, and it's heading down towards the oversold level pretty quickly. And I talked this weekend in the Strength in Numbers report about this indicator and the breadth thrust, which we'll look at next, seeing that the first pivot low after a high after this is usually, or high like this, is usually bought. Doesn't have to be, but usually the first pivot low, and it doesn't have to be at a full extreme, is usually bought. So that's what we'll be watching for here over the next couple of days to see if that materializes. Now we can see here on the breadth thrust indicator that it's dropping pretty swiftly as well at this point, even with price only moving a little bit. Again, when the indicators drop much faster than price, then usually it's going to be a shorter term event, at least for a bounce, and then we get much more information about what's really going on once we see that bounce. Okay, and finally we look at our percent days chart, and we did have that 80% up day last week. However, as I've talked about many times, percent up days are not nearly as predictive as percent down days. So we really don't pay as much attention to them. Sure, we want to know they're there, but it's really not, they do not have a very good track record of having much predictive value at all. So there's a quick rundown of the macro breadth situation in the universe that I follow. And the reason I show that is because I want you to know that sure, we're getting a little bit of short-term movement, but it's not really affecting the long-term outlook a whole lot yet. And oftentimes, as I said, when these short-term indicators spike down after a good thrust like we've seen, that first spike down is bought, and you look for the pivot low, even if it's not an extreme low. And then we get a lot of information out of that bounce. You can make a little money if you want to try to, but also you can get a lot of information of where we really are in this particular move and whether the markets really are trying to change character. All right, so I hope that helped. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions and or if you would like to receive the Strength in Numbers report on the weekends. I put that out every weekend so that you can get an overview of both the macro breadth as well as the sectors and see how things are really acting under the hood. So have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.